Okay, hello everyone. Today I want to introduce you to the new deck in Divine's Booster 1, Lascaria Felino. So this is the new Stoichia decks that focus on using Blitz Order more than once per turn, and people say that it's a defensive deck. And I'll show you what it can do and my take on the build. So we'll start simple with the right line. We're using the pure right line of the Felino decks, Lascaria Felino. So the grade 1 Lascaria says that if you get written by the grade 2, you can search for one Blitz Order, except for Regalia piece. And the grade 2 says if it's written by the grade 3 Lascaria, you can check 5 and add one Blitz Order from your deck to your hand. So basically we're going to get 2 Blitz Order or another Felino cards. Lascaria Felino herself, the grade 3 says that if you have 3 or more Felino units, then you're going to get all of your Felino gains 5k, and if your opponent is grade 3 or more, and you have 5 or more Felino cards in Felino units in the in the field, then she will get critical +1. And when you at the end of the battle that the attack didn't hit, if you use Blitz Order, then you can draw 1 and counter charge 1. Actually, the draw is mandatory. Yeah. Draw 1, counter charge 1. Now, before we go to the build, let's see what the Felino cards can do. So we don't really have that much Felino cards, which means that it's going to be hard to get a full field of Felino. Okay, so first of all, the Blitz Order is Energy Blast 2, 20k shield, and you can play another Blitz Order this turn. So this is the main gimmick of the deck. She's not name locked, so you can actually use this Blitz Order on another deck. Energy Blast 2, 20k shield, another Blitz Order, Shield Fisher deck maybe, 18k base, so yeah. But in this deck, you use this Blitz Order, 20k shield, can Blitz once more, Lascaria skill, draw 1, counter charge 1. And her draw 1 is not once per turn, so in the next battle if you use another Blitz Order, you can draw 1 again, so it will keep your hand size maintained. Now for the Felino cards, there are the grade 3. So this is Felino Caporicium Perops. So it says that at the end of the battle of your Vanguard attack, if your opponent is grade 3 or more, you can counter blast 1, stand this unit, and if you have 3 or more Felino units, this card gains 5k. So this is the attacker slash finisher freestanding rear guard. And then we have the grade 2 Felino Familia Median. It says that if this comes to the field except for battle phase, you can discard 1 to add 1 Blitz Order from drop to hand, or reviving 1 Felino grade 3 or more from the drop to the rear guard circle. So I rarely use this card, but it does come when the grade 1 is in drop or grade 3 is in drop, and you just call, discard 1, then revive the grade 3 or the grade 1. Or you can also just fetch another Blitz Order that you just used. But I don't think the deck is that defensive that you need this to discard 1 and fetch another Blitz Order. We'll see. And last but not least, this is probably the best Felino in the deck. Or rather, the deck just doesn't work if you don't get this card. This is the grade 1 Felino, Felino Familia Fury, and it says that on place, On rearguard circle, counter +1, check up 5, add 1 Felino or 1 Blitz Order to your hand. And she's a continuous 10k booster. Now, what's good about this card is that she will work on place from everywhere, not just from hand. So if you use the grade 2, revive the grade 1, it will proc again. And another thing is that she can fetch herself, so you can place her, counter +1, check up 5, add another one, call 1, counter +1, check up 5, add another one, call her again, counter +1, check up 5, add attacker, call, and you get the fulfill. But it will be a little bit heavy for your counter blast. But the problem with this deck is that let's talk about how the deck plays. Alright, so Lascaria asks for 5 or more Felino units, but there are only 1, 2, 3, 4 types of Felino units, counting the persona. But with the persona we only have 3, and it will be quite hard to make a full field of Felino, especially the back row, since Felino gives 5k to all of your Veleno rear guards, so it will make quite a difference whether you have a Veleno back row or not. And unfortunately, as far as I remember, we don't really have cards that gives boost to non-grade 1 units in Stoic KF. So we can already see that Fury is a 15k booster, and 15 plus 15 is already 30k, but without the back row this is only 18. Let's move this here, this becomes 33. That's a huge difference. So my approach for this deck is that I want to get as much Fury as possible to make sure that my power line is high enough, so that the pressure from Lascaria double crit will make the opponent will make it hard to guard for the opponent. Now this will be the ideal field: 2 to 3 Fury and 1 or the other of the Felino. But the most important point is probably the back row, I think. So how do we get this board, right? Because the most important part from deck building is what is your ideal board, and for me this is the ideal board. Let's see, put this here, assume it's persona, and hopefully we get another grade 3, right? And this will be a restanding rear guard, so that will make the column quite huge. I don't have another 2k marker, so I'm sorry for that, but this is a 10k booster. Now this makes on persona the whole line is 43, 43, 43. But since it's a standard, you can actually do 28 and restand against 5k, and this becomes 48. But what I usually do is boost first, 43, pushing the opponent to 3 or 4 damage, then swing to Vanguard with 43 to crits, probably going to be no guarded, and just restand this one, gain 5k, and this is already 33. 33 is a 20k, 25k guard, and it is better, I think, rather than just asking for a 20k guard. It's 28, because 20k guard is quite easy on Divine's Booster 1. So how do we get this board? That's the most important question. So let's move on to the deck build. Let's start with the trigger first. Trigger is quite simple, but I'm still pondering whether to use 4 or 3 rows. So for heal, just using the normal heal, since we already have lots and lots of 20k shield, in the blitz order. So I think it's just going to be more consistent if we just bring 15k shield. 8 crits, 3 draws, 1 over trigger. And this is quite simple. Stoichia over trigger is still the most consistent over trigger. For Stoichia, 3 draws because the deck badly needs units, and if you draw into a blitz order, that will become another draw. I'm still pondering whether to use 4 draws or 3 draws because we're going to need to push the opponent to 3 to 4 damage, so every critical on the early turn counts. Okay, now we're moving on to the grade 3 first. So the grade 3 is quite obvious. We're going to bring 3 Persona. And we're going to bring actually only 3 of the grade 3 Veleno. Now, with how few the Felino card is, it might be weird why we're bringing 3, but after testing it, I feel like you don't really need that much of the grade 3 because it can be revived with the grade 2, and any extra copy just do nothing in your hand or in your field. And especially if you don't have enough counterblast, then this is just simple 15k attacker. It doesn't even get power from its own effect, so yeah, we're only bringing 3 because you only want to see 2 of this on like turn 4 or turn 5. Moving on to the grade 2, we're only bringing 3 of the Felino Familia Median. Now, this is the same reasoning in that having multiple copies of the grade 2 doesn't really help the deck, because if you want to use its effect completely, then you have to call it, but usually you already have the grade 3 anyway on the field, and you don't want to call it over just to gain another blitz order, because this makes a better line with the grade 1. So for the film package, we're bringing 3 to 3, and we're bringing 4 of the grade 1, obviously. This is the key card of the deck, so this will fetch any of this and any blitz order, so getting 2 to 3 of this will be the key to winning the game. Now for the blitz order, we're playing, of course, 4 of the Lascaria blitz order. Little bit of trivia: the name of the order in Japanese is really similar to how infinite impermanence is pronounced. So it's been kinda a running joke on the Japanese side of Vanguard, Mujin Hoyo and Mugen Hoyo. We're bringing 4 plus 1 nectar. This is a 15k shield, 25 if there are blitz order in the drop, and if you use this first, then obviously this will goes to drop, and this automatically becomes a 25k shield. I'm bringing 1 evergreen transfer. We're not bringing leather because leather is a specific card to fight against Shiranui, and I don't think it worth the price right now. And yeah, Shiranui is probably getting hit on the next balance. And the fact that you can search for transfer with the grade 1 is also quite good. Of course, if you haven't checked OT, you just throw this and the 100 million becomes 0 crit. Now this might be controversial, but I'm bringing 1 Ghost Chase. The reason why I'm bringing Ghost Chase is because I want to bounce the grade 1, so next turn I can call it again to gain another offer effect, con plus 1, check of 5 at 1 Felino, hopefully get another grade 1. Okay. Another card would be 4 perfect cards. I'm not using the elementary substitute by choice because the problem with this deck is that you can only play one Blitz Order per turn, right? But you have a lot of Blitz Order. And even if this card enables you to play another Blitz Order, the order must... the order of playing Blitz Order is that you must play this first, then play another Blitz Order. So for example, if your opponent is like the type that swings Vanguard first, and say you want to perfect guard with elementary substitute, then all of your Blitz Order just dies. Like, you cannot play it again. You have to use this first, then use elementary substitute. Then after that, any of your Blitz Order just cannot be played again. And since there are specific scenarios where you have a lot of Blitz Order in hand, but you have PG first, then if you PG first, then all of your Blitz Order just die. So in order to not running the risk of something like that happening, I'm just bringing the normal perfect card. Also, people will usually forget, and yeah, I don't want to get judge called just for something like this. Now, for the rest of the deck, so for Lascaria, we actually have 11 flex spot. So if we put this here and bring all of the Felino, 4 of Felino, then we will have 11 slots left. And usually people will fill the 3 slots with Blitz Order, and yeah, it's kind of variative. Like, people will bring 3 Nectar or 2 Nectar and 1 of the Zorga Blitz, but my choice is this 3. Then what should we fill with the 8 left, right? So right now people are bringing the new cycle, Brave Shooter. You just use the effect to draw 1 Energy Blast 3 or Counter Blast 1. Mind though that Energy Blasting 3 in this deck going first is really harsh, because so you go to 3 and then you go to 6, right? If you discard it once, then you're left with 3 energy. 3 energy on turn 3, and you can only use 1 of this Blitz Order because this plus is Energy Blast 2. So Energy Blasting 3 is really crucial. So you really have to think about whether you want to EB3 or not using this card. Counter Blast 1 is a little bit more lenient, but yeah, you're better off just Counter Blasting 1 for Fiorier, because it increases the chance of getting the Felino cards. But yeah, in the end, it all goes according to the situation. And for its second effect on Persona turn, Counter Blast 1 EB or EB3, to revive 1 grade 2, not actually revive, but add to hand a grade 2 or less normal unit or order card to hand and discard 1. So unfortunately, this is Counter Blast 1, but you don't get any plus. But you can bring back a grade 2 or less normal unit or order card. So you can bring back the Blitz Order, or you can bring back any of the units, but usually you don't want any units other than Felino on the field, so we are rarely going to use this effect. So for the last 4 slots, people will usually bring the grade 1 and search the Blitz Order, but personally, I prefer bringing the old cycle on this card. So Blast 1 goes to bottom, draw 1. So we're bringing 8 cycles. And why are we bringing 8 cycles? Because in my opinion, the key of the deck is Fiorier, and you want every possible chance of getting Fiorier. So we're going to draw lots of cards on the first 3 turns, hopefully. And if you don't get any of this, then yeah, you just break. Just think of it as breaking. Yeah. So we have 8 plus 4. Hopefully this goes into this. I'm going to bring any way possible to gain more of this grade 1. And that's why I'm taking one slot out from the grade 2 and grade 3 to play 2 of the Mystiarch Habitat Order. Now this is a really weird deck in a sense that we don't really have much target. The best one is of course Furie. The grade 3 is nice, but you need to play this on turn 3. The grade 2 don't really click in the sense that okay, you play the order, you call the grade 2, then nothing happens because probably there are no Blitz Order or there are no Felino on your drop, and it's just because of a 10k attacker. That's it. It's kinda weak, but we really need the grade 1, and I want any chance of getting the grade 1. So we're like running 4 plus 2, right? So that's 6 of the grade 1s, and hopefully another 8 cards to draw the grade 1. Another nice thing that you can do is actually like use this whole persona and use Ghost Chase to bounce the persona back. So this is for the build. We're running this plus the triggers, right? So for normal heal, 8 crits, 3 draw, and 1 OT. But it's really hard to consider running 3 or 4 draws because every draw counts in this deck. But every crit also counts because if this resistance, this becomes a 48k line, and getting a crit on a 48k line is just really nice. Okay, so let's move on to some hand tests and Mulligan guide. So Mulligan is quite simple, right? Because we're bringing 8 cycles. Mulligan is simply keep the cycles, return back everything except for the grade 1 Furie, because we badly need the grade 1. So let's give it a little bit of a shuffle and have a test. Rip English. Okay, so let's have some sample of how the deck works. So right here, this is an easy Mulligan. Keep the grade 1, return back everything. Now why are we returning to PG? Because all of your Blitz Order will be converted to a draw 1 by the grade 3 Lascaria. So you can probably draw the PG somewhere on the way. So let's say we're going first. Draw. Unfortunately, we didn't draw any of the cycle cards. It can happen. So yeah, just be aware of it. And yeah, let's just discard the draw trigger and write last turn. So this deck doesn't really want to guard early, just take the damage, crit power to Vanguard, then draw. We get the cycle, energy charge 3, discard the cycle card, write the grade 2. So there are many things happening here. Let's go with the grade 1 first. When it got written by the grade 2, add 1 Blitz Order. So this is the reason why I'm bringing Ghost Chase in this deck. I'm going to usually almost every game I'm going to add Ghost Chase on turn 2, because this way I can put the grade 1, guard, goes back to hand, next turn call again. But if I don't have the grade 1, then I'm going to get the Lascaria Blitz Order. Now, since we've discarded the cycle and I have the grade 1 in hand, I want to gain maximum value, so I'm going to use the Energy Blast 3 to draw 1. And going to the main phase, we are going to call this behind the Vanguard. Of course, there's also the option of calling it here. This because the 10k attacker, 10k, 10k, 5k guard, 15 to 2, 15 OT to pass. But with the arrival of the new cycle, I don't think 5k guard is a good option because people can just discard the cycle, Energy Blast 3, draw 1, then this attack just do nothing. Except for like eating your opponent's resource, Energy Blast or Color Blast. But there are decks that don't care about their Energy Blast, so yeah. Usually I'll put it behind a Vanguard, and that's the reason why we're running 8 crits to make sure that this attack goes through and hopefully it gets crits. So grade 1 effect, control plus 1, check top 5. Hopefully we get something. All of them are triggers. Okay, so we get the grade 3 at the hand. Shuffle. And then this just swings for 20k. 20k to Vanguard. Brief check, nothing. That's another cycle, really nice. Assuming that we're just getting attacked once, no guard. And then draw. Energy charge 3. And we're going to discard the cycle here to write into the Lascaria Felino grade 3. And let's go with the grade 2 effect first. Check top 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Adding 1 Blitz Order or 1 Veleno. And in this situation, we already have the Blitz Order, but we don't have the energy to play more than one of them. So I think it's probably better to just get the grade 2. Yeah, the problem with this deck is that all of its resource is quite scarce. You counter blast a lot, you energy blast a lot, and there are nothing that soul blast, but there's no way to use your soul as a resource, so yeah. Well, except for the cycle, so soul blast 1, goes bottom, draw 1. Really nice. So we're going to add another value by calling the grade 1, control plus 1, check out 5. So this deck also like goes through the deck a lot, and we're taking the persona, nothing else is target, so this is the bad part of the deck because we're bringing so many non-blitz, non-Felino cards. There will be times where you check top 5 and get nothing. But otherwise, this deck is going to filter out really nicely. Now since the opponent is still on grade 2, if we're going first, right? This already gains 5k due to Lascaria effect. So this already makes a really nice number of 15k and 21, 23, 33, 33 Vanguard and 15 Rear Guard. But I'm usually just going to call the grade 3 just to make sure that we're getting a really nice number here. I don't usually call grade 2 here simply because the grade 2 main purpose is to reuse the grade 1 or grade 3 if it gets retired or gets attacked. So we'll just go with this. The exception is if I get another grade 3, then I just call it here. This going first is already a huge number. 33 on both column. We just swing with Vanguard first. Usually it will get no guarded, but if you're still at grade 2, I'm attacking with 33 Vanguard, a single crit. Just let it go, twin drive. Nothing, nothing. And this can still swing mine. This is also 33. Now the guarding part is quite simple. You just take damage proportionally. So let's say I'm facing against Leonor because I'm really familiar with Leonor, right? Leonor going a second, turn 3. Let's say it gets up to Muscus and there's a Luster Impart. So the Restoring Fairy is going to be 18k because Persona plus 15k. So that's 33. First attack 33, I'll take, no guard. Nothing. Then the second attack, I'll guard with the order. So we're going to Energy Blast 2. This is already 33k and that's another 5k to guard. And we're going to actually use the cycle. So the cycle says that if it gets called from hand to guardian circle, you can counterblast one, draw one. So we draw into an OT, but no problem. Then Lascaria effect, since it didn't hit, you can counter charge one and draw one. So we've just guarded with 2 cards and we refunded another 2 cards. It's just like nothing happened, right? And then the Vanguard attacks, let's say that we're going to be careful and decided to guard it, but I'm not going to guard usually if the hand is like this because I don't have any PG. So let's say we no guard and the opponent gets crit. So 2 damage. Crit power to Vanguard. Then it's going to be 48-48 for the last 2 attack of Rosarium Fairy. 48 against 23, that's 13 guard. Rip math. 48, so let's see. 23, 38, 48. Use a ghost chase. Take back the great one. Take back the one behind the Vanguard. And discards. And since we're using Blitz Order, Rascal effect procs and you draw one. Then we have to guard another 30k. So yeah, let's guard 30k. And it goes to our turn. Then I draw. Restart 3. And we go into a persona, right? Draw one. And we're going to use the Misty Arc. Hopefully getting into the great one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we already have the great 3 in hand. So we're just going to choose the habitat gain to put it to hand. Just to remove any non Felino cards because we're going to use the great one next. Counterblast 1. Check top 5 to add 1 Lascaria or 1 Veleno or 1 Blitz Order. Another persona there. I'm hoping to run into another great one, but unfortunately we're not getting there. But that's okay because this is already a good number. Just hold this here. We have 5 Felino units, so all gains 5k. And the Vanguard is going to get 1 crit. And since we're personaing is that thing? Since we're on persona, Chrono gets 10k. Now there are many ways to make use of this hand. One of it is just hold the grade to here, discard the cycle that don't really have any use anymore, and you're going to take the Felino, Lascaria Felino Blitz Order back to hand. So that's a 40k shield right there. Or you can call a trigger if you want to push for damage. Another really nice thing that you can do is actually calling the cycle, counterblast 1, and makes your open row cannot stand and cannot intercept. Like if we're using the simulation right now that we're playing in Liarn Masques, I'll probably call this and make the Rosarium Fairy unable to stand, and it will make your opponent suffer a little bit. Like, yeah, it's really hard for Liarn without Rosarium Fairy. But other than that, so let's say we're making this as our persona turn. So the opponent is still at at 2 damage. I'm going to attack like this. So this is 13. This is 10k booster, 23 plus 5 plus 5. 33 plus persona, 43. So this is 43, and people will usually know guard of 43k attacks, right? And opponent takes damage. Then we're going to swing with this one. So I'm going to let this be unboosted. 28k. Vanguard swings 28k 2 crits. So if the opponent said 3 or 4 damage, this must be guarded because we're going at it with 2 crits. So twin drive, nothing. Heal trigger, do heal. Unfortunately, we're not seeing the crits here on drive check. And end of battle, count +1, stand. And if you have 3 or more Felino, this is another 5k. So this is 48k lines. Now, standing this one is quite optional if the opponent is still at like 4 damage. Kinda useless if you want to stand this. Because we can probably survive another turn. So let's say we're not going to stand that one. And this swings for 48k. Opponent accept, opponent goes to 5 damage. And we'll pass our turn. The opponent goes to into Tifache, let's say, and they're going to attack with probably the first one is going to be Rosarium Fairy with 30. How big is it again? Let's say big row is a Lascaria part 15k plus 8. 30, 38. That's 38. We're going to use the Blitz. That's 33. And let's just wait the trigger. So this is successful guard. We're going to counter charge one and draw one from Lascaria's skill. Another attack, let's say it's being boosted by a Atlantis. So that's 13k plus 8. That's 21. 21 plus 15, 36. That's 33 plus another 5k guard. And cycle skill, 1 draw 1. That's another successful guard with a base order, draw 1. Then Vanguard swings. You just have to take it because we don't have any PG unfortunately. Or you can guard with an OT, but that's not really advisable. So let's just say no guard and the opponent doesn't get a crit. Then that's another Vanguard restanding 18 to Vanguard. That's 20k guard for 42 pass. Then last two attacks will be 20k plus 13. That's 33. Guard with OT, another 33, 28, 33. Yeah, just enough. And yeah, it's back to our turn. Stand and draw. Persona right. And cross 3. And we're going to use the habitat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, that's a bad reveal, so we're just going to call cycle here. And doesn't need to use its effect because we have to open counter blast. Assuming the opponent is at 5 damage, this will be something like this. So we just swings with 28. So there are many options. There will be a 28 Vanguard swing. This resistance gain 5k and 48. But rather than a 28, I prefer going with 43 33 line because 43 30k lines, none of them are guardable with just a 20k guard. But if you go 28 48, 28 will be guarded with 20k and the 48 will just be like no guard or concept for PG. Yeah, so I'm probably going to go with another choice that is 28, 43, 28k 2 crits, twin drive, nothing. We'll count +1 to stand. And this is going to be a 33, 48. That's also a choice. But basically, that's how the deck works. So, what's good about Felino? One is that you're going to get a high-powered build because she gives 5k to all of your Felino regards. No question asked. Like there are no costs, no soul blasting one, no need to reveal normal unit from your top deck like Soriaron. It just gain 5k by existing. And to gain the Felino field, you're going to abuse the heck out of the Great One because on place it will be a potential +1, like check top 5 at 1. And yeah, the whole engine is on the Great One because it can fetch attacker, it can fetch a persona, it can fetch a blitz corner. Yeah, all of them can be fetched by the Great One. So I think the way the deck works is how are you going to abuse this Great One. Of course, there are options of bringing the soul-based one to revive, spiritual condensation, right? Or bringing Diante, but Counter Blast is quite limited in this deck, and spiritual condensation would do nothing if these great ones are like on the bottom of the deck. So on the earlier game, we get the great one quite early, but if we don't get the great one, the game is going to be really different, and it will be a really harsh. Either you're going to lose quickly, or it's going to be a grind game because you're just going to swing with small number and guarding with everything you have. The advantage of getting the great one early is that starting from turn 3, you're going to swing with a really big number. Yeah. This hand testing is going quite good, like getting 2 of this Fiore great one. Really the most optimal situation. Let's say we're going second right now, stand and draw. So you don't want to discard this if you're going first, but if you're going second, you can actually discard this, right? Gain crash, gain 3 energy, then use it to energy blast 3 and draw. Opponent attack, you just take no guard, stand and draw, and we're out of cycle, so just discard a crit, fight a 3-2, catching blitz order. So in this situation, I'm going to add Ghost Chase just because we're having so many great ones, and since we're going second, we're going to get quite a lot of counter blast. Check top 5, adding the Fiore great one. Now we already have 3 Fiore, and that means that next turn we're... Oh, I forgot. If we're going second, then the great one should have attacked, right? Yeah, check draw 1. And let's say we're going to take everything and goes to 5 damage. Of course, this is not ideal, right? Like going to 5 damage on turn 2. But yeah, let's say it is how it is. And now this is quite an interesting hand. So we have 2 blitz order that is not the Veleno Lascaria blitz. So we're just going to discard the Ghost Chase because we're not going to be able to use both of these on one turn. Check top 5. Getting the persona. Yeah, the way the deck digs through the card digs through the deck makes it that persona is quite an easy, quite easy to get. So check the 5, get 1 blitz. Your hand is just not going to get reduced if you're on this many theory. So sorry, we're at 6 right now. And looking at his hand, we only have one attacker, so rather than getting the blitz order again, especially because we already have 2 blitz, we're just going to take the grade 3, shuffle the rest, all, and we already have a really nice column of going second, and this will be how big is it again? 33k. Rip English. 13, 23, 33. Yeah. All of them are 33k to crits. And the opponent said grade 3, so we can start multi-attacking, or we can just like push through with Vanguard swing first. Like if the opponent is at 2 damage and they need counter blast, probably they're going to no guard this one. And you go twin drive, nothing. But this is going to be quite a really tanky hand, right? And that's how the deck works basically. So the advantage of the deck is that with the way it guards, you can take the risk of like tanking a kill turn, and yeah, so you can push your opponent to 5, give them counter blast, and hopefully you can tank the kill turn with your hands, buying you another extra turn, and multi attack with the Veleno cards, especially since the deck honestly lack firepower, so it badly needs to like tank a kill turn. But the way the deck works is really it's really possible to tank a kill turn, especially since you draw a card every time you use a blitz order. So that's going to be like 2 or 3 attacks that will give you a plus minus 0. Just start with everything, right? And it goes back to your turn, and the power is really big. So now I draw 1. This we have an extra counter blast. Just call it over to thin out your deck, and really nice. We get another blitz order, and of course we're plus 3 here. And this is another, all of them are like 43k lines, and we're back to the earlier game state. Yeah, so going back at it, the reason why we're playing Felino is probably because she's cute. No, I'm just kidding. This is like the long-awaited defensive deck, right? We've been really bored with how fast the game has become, and this helps it slow down a little bit, hopefully. But it also have a really high offensive power in the board because it gives a global 5k, and it gives itself a crit. But if you want to have a huge number, you need to have as many of the great one as possible. I really hope that we get another Felino great one, because otherwise, honestly, the deck is not that consistent. Yeah, so that's it for the deck review. We're running Felino because it has good defensive power, high power on board, plus critical Vanguard, and multiple attack, like 4 to 5 attack on your kill turn. So I think that's the main reason why you want to play Felino. This is not a meta deck in the sense that you're probably better off buying a straight deck, but this deck has potential for the future. Especially if we get another grade 1 Felino, then the deck going to be increasing its consistency quite a lot, because you can take out the grade 2, put in grade 1, and now you already have an attacker, you have a booster, and this deck badly needs a full board. Of course, the deck dies to control deck like Gandiva, things that retire back throws, but hopefully with the way how the deck is constructed right now, it can run fast enough to outpace the control deck. And that's it for the deck profile of Felino. Hopefully it can become a reference for you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye.